So for The Voice of Poland, I had my audition and I had to sing in Polish one song.
Oh, wow.
And I sang this Wielka Miłość song. It was so embarrassing. I took out my notes and they were laughing at me, but I was like, you know what? So I got Rihanna and I was so thrilled about it. And there was a vocal coach in the back. Her name was Kasia. And she just told me, sing like you want to make love to someone so badly. I'm not ashamed to be who I am. Let's get that straight. I love who I am. I hated who I was as a kid.
So what were those feelings? You said you had some feelings you didn't understand.
Oh God, here we go. So these feelings that I'm talking about, it's the first time ever I'm gonna admit it.
Oh,
on
really?
camera.
We're honored.
And I think at one point, even though I felt purity and goodness in my soul, I was just self-destructing around me.
Hello and welcome to Warsaw Confidential, Poland's #1 podcast in English. I am your host Kamal Jahid, and today I sit down with Sami Harb, an incredible American songwriter, composer and vocalist with deep roots in Beirut, Lebanon. Join us as we delve into Sami's inspiring journey, exploring his artistic influences, experiences on Polish television, and the heartfelt moments that have defined his musical career. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Enjoy this episode. Before we start, I want to tell you about a place I call home. This place is Leila Restaurant and Lounge, located at the heart of Warsaw at Żurawia 32. I call this place home because, first of all, Leila is the name of my own mother. And this is the place where you find me having a meal or having a business meeting or simply just hanging out with my friends. I love Leila so much because this is where I see Polish people and friends from around the world come together to share a drink, a meal, a laugh, or a story. I am happy to announce that Leila is now a proud sponsor of the Warsaw Confidential show. And for you guys, we have a very special deal. You get 10% off your bill, your meal, drinks, whatever you get at Leila. You just have to mention Warsaw Confidential and you will get your discount. Thank you, Leila, for sponsoring this episode. I look forward to seeing you all there. Sami, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. What is it I must know about you that helped me understand the man you are today? From the past, I must follow up. And
That's a really good question. So what you have to know to understand who I am today is that I have been through a lot of trials and tribulations. I have 6 brothers that I grew up with, and I had very busy parents with kind of a chaotic home, and I always was searching for my voice in that crowd. And I think that singing was my way of channeling God's gift. Everyone gets their own little gift from God to be able to communicate authentically. And I think singing is the way that I was able to make my voice heard. And I discovered who I am by this process. So yeah, that's it.
so let's zoom in there. So who are you? What do you do? And I must follow up with why you do care about this stuff.
Okay. My name is Sami Harb. I'm a professional singer and teacher. And it matters because I think music saved my life and I'm paying my debt back to it. So I think that there were many times where I wanted to give up in life and kind of just silence all these metaphorical voices and figurative voices in my head and just take the easy way out and party or whatever. But I think that life is worth living, and I want to give people the same positivity and recovery that I received. So Yeah. I want to heal the world, one person at a time.
Don't we all? So, okay, let's go back to the origin story here. And you're an American slash Lebanese, or Lebanese slash American, in that order.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, we're in Poland right now. The show is about Poland, about Warsaw. So, how did an American singer end up in Poland?
Well, okay, it's a long story.
We got time.
So I always tell people that I just got lost and never took my flight. But the real story is that I have a brother, Munir, who was also on this podcast.
Yeah, he was.
I graduated from my university. I studied in psychology. And after my studies, I moved out to Arizona and was basically a hippie. I was living in the mountains. I had this huge beard. I was walking barefoot in the forest. I bought a little piano and just worked and really wanted to experience how it was living on my own and away from the family, so I can grow as my own person without any other influence around me and without any shame around me. So I kind of wanted a clean slate. And nothing was better than Flagstaff, Arizona, in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
So Munir was living here, and he told on the podcast a story about the girl with cancer who lied, and he was distraught. And we just agreed to meet up in New Jersey, and we were hanging out in the garage like all brothers do, and we were just playing around. He was playing guitar and I was singing, and we like, let's make a band. Let's go to Poland. Let's do it. Why not? So we just flew out here. I was supposed to stay one summer, and we started getting booked with gigs. We noticed that Polish singers back in 2015 weren't really focused on expression in art, in music, I should say, not art. Not to give away, not to say that Polish people aren't expressive, but there was a little something different. There was a little piece of the Lebanese soul missing, the little American flair to it. So we were giving these kind of concerts, and we had really good feedback.
I have been to them, bro. I've been to a few of these concerts. Awesome stuff.
Thank you. So it was super fun, and we had this amazing friend group that was so supportive of us. And I found love. So I'm like, all right, let's stay. So basically that's how I got here.
Right. Interesting. So basically it was from the US straight to Warsaw, correct? Or no, Sopot. This was Sopot, right?
Yes, Sopot, yeah.
Tell me about Sopot. This is Sopot Confidential, not
Oh,
Warsaw
goodness.
Confidential.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
I love Sopot.
Yeah.
I saw how much it meant to my brother, and I trusted every word. And he was right. It was an incredibly beautiful, inspirational, hidden gem. There were a lot of parties, so that's a fact. But that was summertime, but in the winter, you get to experience the beach, the forest, and just cozy times with your friends. I found it to be very comfortable.
Did it help you shape like your art or your creations?
I would say that I'm a very internal person. I'm very extroverted, but I'm also extremely emotional. So no matter where I am, no matter the environment, I always have some narrative in my head that's leading me to a song. So if it's a relationship, or if it's traveling, or if I'm in the forest, or if I want to make some kind of mantra for myself, it's just going to happen anyway. But yeah, it really inspired me to try to be great.
When did you start music?
Oh, I started music since I was a little kid. One of my million brothers, Hassam, he saw that I was always singing Disney songs, and he was a really good singer. He still is. And my brother Bassam also sang. Everyone sings. We have like the Jackson 7. And he noticed that I really loved singing Disney songs, and he was actually kind of pushing me towards, oh, you should sing this. And I remember once he brought a friend to the room in my house, and he said, oh, can you sing for him a little bit? And I sang, and they were just like really positive. And actually, like I mentioned before, my voice was being heard in one way or another. And he just pushed me all throughout my beginning foundation of my musical interest. But with my mom, when we were riding in the car, she would be singing Debbie Gibson songs, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. And I saw that she was putting so much passion, Celine Dion.
Wow.
And my mom's an incredible dancer. She's got the rhythm in her. She's got that Lebanese belly dancing. Yeah. And she just, when I saw how much music made her happy, of course you get imprinted. You feel this emotion from your own mom and you're like, this makes her happy. I love this. I'm going to make her happy. Maybe one day I'll make a song for her. Like I wasn't actively thinking that, but as I grew up, I realized that maybe this is why. Maybe this is why I want to make my mom happy.
Interesting. So you come to Poland, you like enjoying partying, having fun, and
yeah.
I have to stay, but I have to make a living at the same time to be able to stay. So walk me through these first days of saying, okay, I'm going to be a singer in Poland.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
The first days that I said that I'm going to be a singer in Poland, in the beginning, I wasn't really thinking about being rich and famous. In the beginning, I was thinking, okay, I want to just make ends meet, live my life, and then maybe I will find some online job and support myself further. But I had my brother helping me, and it was amazing. So we would just do some duo concerts together, and he had my back. So I was always stable in one form or another. But when my brother left Poland, he went to Lebanon and he was working on himself and he was just staying with my dad. I was left on my own with just like a couple thousand zloty in my pocket thinking, what am I going to do? So I decided to go to Warsaw, and that's when this
Life began.
This is when the journey began, the real journey, where I'm on my own. I don't have any family member. I don't have any friend with me. I'm about to start something, the hero's journey.
So tell me about it. Tell me these first days.
Okay, so actually, I got really lucky when I visited Warsaw. I met Michał Pirog.
Oh.
He's like really famous guy, and he's the host of Top Model, and so
Shout out
you think
to
he can
Michał.
dance? Yeah, he's awesome. He helped me so much because I met him randomly in Plac Pavicella. Like I saw him, I was having some apple juice. Second cameras.
Sure you were.
He looked so good. He was so nice and stylish. He was surrounded by these beautiful girls. And I just went up to them and I was like, hey, you want to hear a song?
Oh, wow.
And I sang for him right then and there. And he's like, hey, I know a karaoke place. Let's go to karaoke. And we became friends. And I noticed that people are taking pictures of him when I'm walking with him. And I'm like, who are you? And yeah, it turned out he was a celebrity. So I told him I want to move to Warsaw. And he said, okay, you can stay in my spare bedroom and I'll help you look for a flat. And he helped me out. He took me in, gave me his spare room, found me an apartment, and I went to a party with some random people, and I'm talking to one guy. He was an English teacher. He said, hey, you want a job? He hired me at a school as a native speaker. And back then, it was good money. It was like 5,000 zloty, 2015 by yourself.
Yeah,
it was good. It was decent money. And I had still time to do concerts. I was just working like 25 hours a week. So I had time to look in the music industry. And little by little at this school, I'm teaching Disney songs. I'm teaching the kids how to sing in English. They had so much fun. And one of my students was the nephew of Thomas Kamal, who's the host of The Voice of Poland.
Okay.
And he sent me a message on Facebook from his private account. And he's inviting me to the morning show to sing a song and talk about my lessons because his nephew was talking about me. And it's like, oh, I love my teacher. It was so cute. So I Googled him and I'm like, wait, you're the host of The Voice of Poland. How can I audition for this? I'm like, thank you for the offer for the morning show, but I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
But let me find out. And he called producers for me and I just had an audition.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's actually good that you brought it up. So I want to talk specifically about that at this part of the interview. So let's talk about The Voice of Poland.
Lord.
Because I actually followed that very precisely and passionately because we were rooting for you. We were watching every, So you auditioned and then?
So for The Voice of Poland, I had my audition. I sang Make You Feel My Love from Adele for the producers. And I had to sing in Polish, one song.
Oh,
And I
wow.
sang this Wielka Miłość song. It was so embarrassing. I took out my notes and they were laughing at me. But I was like, you know what?
This is
It
it?
was a cute laugh. It was like, oh, he's trying kind of laugh. And I realized like Polish people really respect it when you try anything in their language because they know how difficult it is.
Yeah,
Polish people say they can't even speak Polish. And I hear so many people say that.
True.
But The Voice of Poland was the ultimate test for me. It was the first real test where I had to not have any crutch. So before in Sopot, I was drinking some apple juice, we'll call it, and maybe some herbal supplements, some teas, we'll call it. And I was having a hard time being more of a sober-minded performer because I had to silence the anxiety somehow. I was afraid. And The Voice of Poland gave me a contract that said, you can't be drinking any alcohol and you can't be under the influence of anything, or you get a 10,000 zloty fine, et cetera, whatever. We're not going to discuss that. We don't want to get sued. Thank you very much. So, so I had to deal with these performances completely sober-minded and conscious, and
Like
it was the ultimate challenge for me. But thankfully, I had Piasek with me, and he was such a good coach to me. Not only was he a coach, but he was a mentor and a friend. He was coming to my concerts. He was so amazing to me.
And then the competition started, and how did that go?
So during The Voice of Poland, the competition was pretty fierce. It was pretty intense. For my first song, I sang Love on the Brain. And, you know, I really love Rihanna. So you don't really get to pick your songs.
Oh,
They,
really?
they give you a list and
Interesting.
you pick out of the like 80 something songs, you pick 5 English, 5 Polish songs, and then they pick for you. They have the final say. So I wanted Rihanna or Adele. I wanted one of the divas. So I got Rihanna and I was so thrilled about it. And there was a vocal coach in the back. Her name was Kasia. And she just told me, sing like you want to make love to someone so badly. Take deep breaths. And she just silenced my anxiety. I trusted her. I knew that she was very vocally capable and she believed in me. And I'm like, to have such an amazing singer and coach believe in me, I must have something. So I went out there. I completely blacked out. Don't remember anything. All I remember is after the song, I'm there and the chairs are turned.
Wow.
Like I got all 4, and it was so stressful for me because they started speaking Polish to me. And I'd only been in Warsaw for about 3 months.
Yeah.
So I was overwhelmed, but I ended up picking Piasek. And I remember a reporter coming up to me like, how do you feel after this and this? And I just completely ignored him. I was in my head and trying to remember what happened. So it was a really different experience for me. But during the competition, you make some friends. You start to get attached to people. You know, there's this kind of mentality. You're going through something with someone else. So you bond with them. So when you see people being eliminated, it hurts you. You're like, my friend is getting eliminated. This one person who understands how I'm feeling in this situation is going home. What am I going to do? Just text them now? I had them around for support to be like, I'm nervous too. Let's hug. Let's talk about it. How do I sound? Your support just keeps deteriorating as you go through each stage. And then it's like, okay, all your friends are gone. All your competition is gone. Now you're in a live show. Good luck.
Wow.
It's incredibly scary, but I'm so happy about it. Was I happy with all my performances? No. I think that there was a lot that I was holding back because I was too nervous. I was too busy thinking about which note to hit and how to sound perfect rather than expressing how I really feel in each song, because I didn't pick the songs myself primarily. And because I was doubting myself. There's a lot of amazing singers around me.
So how was the experience working? Like you said, you had this, let's say, friends, I would call them, or colleagues. they were mainly Polish singers or artists?
Yes.
So how was that experience for an American / Lebanese working with Polish artists?
Well,
What did you learn from that?
I learned what I learned from working with Polish artists and also working with Polish teachers, even at the school. It kind of went together. The thing for me is that they told me that when you become more successful here, you'll have less and less friends. This is what I was gathering. When there were teachers that when they started getting promoted, they said everyone started getting jealous and hating them. And so everyone's putting in my head that Polish people get jealous when you're successful.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't see that. I wasn't experiencing that. I had a lot of really positive encounters with people, but they're instilling fear in me in some kind of way. But I did realize that a lot of people weren't really happy for me or supportive in the same way that I was supporting them. I think maybe I didn't interpret it correctly because what I was being told. I think I'm just more expressive of my feelings. And they're just more internalizing and doubting themselves because, the why Poland question.
Yeah. What?
Why are you here? Poland is whatever. They weren't really confident, which I think is a huge change from today. I think Polish people are way more proud today than they were in 2015. Before it was, there's no income here. Why here? Everyone wants to leave Poland. Why are you here? Now I hear people saying, Poland is awesome. I love this country. I moved to the UK for this amount of time and I decided to come back. And I'm like, why did I ever leave?
You could see the change in the narrative. That's true. So I remember, because I was watching this closely, you reached the semifinals, right?
Yes.
And then you got eliminated. Do you think that was fair?
Well, I reached the semifinals, got eliminated. There was huge backlash online. They said it was staged. I don't really care, honestly, to be honest.
What was staged? That you reached the semifinal or?
No, that I got eliminated. Yes. So the thing is that Piasek gave 70% vote to my teammate on my team against me to go to the finals, and I got 30%, but everyone was saying I got robbed. I really liked Mateusz, the guy who won. He was an amazing person. But I saw some little moments where the producers play some tricks. Say someone's singing off key that they want to advance to the next stage. They'll turn off the music and they're like, "Oh, we're having a sound issue. Why don't you sing a cappella?"
Oh, wow.
That happened in this.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this.
Obviously, I can't prove anything, and I don't want to be a conspiracist. And I was telling people that I didn't want to win because all the previous winners that were visiting, they were saying, "Don't get the contract. The contract is 10 years. You have to make all these albums. You're kind of locked in." So they always said second place is best.
And you were second, right?
I was second on my team. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like top 8.
Oh, okay.
So second on my team because there's 4 teams. Definitely there's a lot of production happening in any show.
Right. Yeah.
There is. And they know marketing well. So it's not meant to be against you. Nobody should take it personally. It's just the way the world works. It really is. And if you can accept reality and destiny, and you really believe that you have God on your side or the universe on your side, what's meant to be is meant to be. And I consider myself lucky to not have won and be in that contract because I like who I am today and I like the other shows that I've done. So
what would you say to anyone who wants to go to The Voice of Poland or any talent show, I would say? Would you advise them against or tell them to go?
What I tell people that want to audition for any talent show, I would say do it. I would say if you are scared, it's more of a reason to do it. Face your fears. As long as you have friends that are telling you the truth, I don't want people to end up as the joke on TV like they play on American Idol contestants, for example. You know, these, she bangs. I mean, he was very successful.
Yeah.
But there are people that they love to make fun of and make TV out of. So if you have a good, authentic friend, or you ask the opinion of a vocal coach, or record yourself and judge yourself, how it sounds, because a lot of people just are tone deaf. It's not their fault. But if you are a good singer and people around you are telling you're a good singer, go and audition. It only strengthens you as a person. You have your own set list that you sing all the time. You have your own songs that you listen to on Spotify and YouTube. Take the challenge where someone else picks a song for you.
It's a good one.
And you start to expand your repertoire. You start to find different notes that you can hit, different styles. You become more of a niche singer in a sense. You're more versatile. And it really helped me. I was singing strictly depressing love songs. And then all of a sudden I have backup dancers and I'm like, very superstitious. Yeah, so.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It's great.
I love it. Okay, so losing sucks anyhow. Even if you say, well, I didn't want to win because of the contract. Okay, I understand. Yeah. How that you must have felt a little bit, I'd say, sad.
Yeah.
Or
honestly, losing, it does suck. Of course, you want to win in some way, but I already felt like I won. I felt like so proud of myself. I felt actually relieved going home because I'm like, the amount of stress every week to learn a song in like 5 days, be in the right positioning. You have to work with this dancer. You have to go back this. Here's a Coca-Cola commercial. Here, sell these headphones. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially for a person new to the city who doesn't speak the language at all, doesn't know anything except for the bad words.
Yeah.
I felt both relieved, sad, and proud of myself at the same time. So it was worth it. It was totally worth it.
So did you come up out of it as a better artist, singer?
I would say I came out of it
or
as
a better human.
A better human and singer, because Piasek told me I was always reaching for the highest notes and trying to sing powerful and just trying to show my ability and be loud. And he taught me, why don't you just sing a little softer? Why don't you use your lower register? Why don't you tell us the story like a little bit softer? And his voice plays in my head all the time. When people give me good advice, they're stuck in my consciousness for the rest of my life. I hear their voices in my head telling me this as if they're standing right next to me. They become like a little guardian angel in a sense of wisdom. So he really changed the way that I approach some songs, and he made me reach out and think, oh yeah, you know what? This sounds good. This is nice.
So for those who know, who's this guy?
Andrzej Piaseczny.
Piaseczny, okay. Who is he?
He is Andrzej Piaseczny is a very famous Polish singer.
Okay.
He's been around for a while. I think he was super popular in the 90s even. He's also a romantic singer. He's got perfect teeth. Absolutely perfect teeth. And he's incredibly nice. He was always known as the Simon Cowell of the group. To me, he was the nicest one.
So who's like your mentor, your angel?
He was honest. No. The thing is that people are so afraid of the truth. And when someone is judging them and critiquing them, they forget that they were there to be judged and critiqued, and that it's competition, and they take it so personally. But when they gave me criticism, of course, I'm like, I failed. I'm thinking to myself, I failed. But when you really set the emotions aside, you're like, this person's helping me. This person really wants the best for me. And they know what they're talking about. They're famous.
So in this TV reality shows, there's always like a before life and an afterlife. How was your afterlife after the show?
After The Voice of Poland, I started getting booked a lot. I was known as like the romantic singer. I got booked for a lot of weddings, event galas, and it was very rewarding. I liked it a lot. I left my school and started teaching privately because I was around kids all the time. And when you're around kids, you know, you are just sick all the time. They're sneezing on you. They're like, hey teacher, how are you? And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, thank you. So I wanted to prioritize my health and not get sick. So after this, I focused strictly on music and going out there, doing concerts and working with people, which was a big challenge for me because I didn't speak any Polish, but I navigated my way through
To become a better man.
to become a better man for sure, to learn how to trust people because I had really big trust issues.
Right.
that I had
Why
to-
is that? Why do you think you have trust issues?
Well, I think I have trust issues because growing up, I didn't have a very stable environment where I knew I could predict what was going to happen in an hour or the next day or the next week. Sometimes my mom was working like 3 jobs. So I just had my brothers around me and we didn't have a lot of money. My mom left my dad and he was in Lebanon and she was in America and she was just trying to figure it out. And she had 7 boys. She had 7 boys. She never got to have a childhood. She got married at 16 and had 2 kids. And this kind of superwoman, she can only do so much. You know, she can only do so much. But it doesn't change the fact that I felt a bit alone in some of my struggles. I didn't have a parent to talk to growing up about, I have these feelings. What should I do? I had my brothers and they were amazing, honestly. It was so amazing to live with your best friends. But they're also kids. What can you expect? So it was really hard for me to really make this kind of connection where I put all my deepest feelings in someone and they didn't judge me. Because there's a lot of judgment, especially in a Muslim household, if you're not going
In
the way they expect
right
you.
path.
Yeah, if you're not a doctor with a mustache at 10 years old, you're a failure. So
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah. So how would you describe your childhood?
my childhood was very chaotic, very filled with anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety issues. I felt different from a young age. I felt like I had to grow up faster than the average person, even though it's not my responsibility to you don't involve children in adult problems, right? Unfortunately, we were very involved in adult problems. I love my mom so much. I really, really love her. She was so stressed. Can you imagine just taking care of, she had 5 of us with her. Can you imagine? I'm like complaining about waking up early and sometimes just getting out of my bed. Can you imagine getting out of bed, working 2, 3 jobs to feed 5 kids? You don't learn that until you actually become an adult. You don't learn the struggles that your mom went through or your parents went through until you grow up and you're like, holy crap, how the hell did she do that? So back then I was thinking, why isn't she there? Why isn't my mom there? I'm not loved. It's not her fault. It's not her fault at all. It's just we needed a little better communication. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have other stories to relate to. I was basically on my own in my thoughts. And there were so many thoughts that I was scared to share with my brothers because I'm thinking they're going to hate me. They're not going to love me anymore. So my childhood was very traumatic, very traumatic. And I suffered from like sleep paralysis because of this. I don't know if you know sleep paralysis.
Right. No. Yeah.
I'd be frozen in my bed because overwhelming anxiety. It felt like rocks stacking on top of me. And I had no WebMD, no, nothing to Google. So I just felt like,
Lost.
yeah, lost.
So what were those feelings? You said you had some feelings you didn't understand.
Oh God, here we go. So these feelings that I'm talking about, it's the first time ever I'm going to admit it.
Oh,
On
really?
camera.
We're honored. So Warsaw Confidential.
I'm a very open person. I am. I am who I am. I've always been scared to talk about this on camera because there's that deep embedded Arabic culture where Muslim culture where you're not allowed to be gay. Oh my God, I said it. You're not allowed. Um, I'm not ashamed to be who I am. Let's get that straight. I love who I am. I hated who I was as a kid because of this, because I was different. I knew it. And I thought I was the only one in the world. I thought I was the only one. I'm like, everyone's talking about girls. Everyone's looking at girls in this kind of way. And I'm not. I'm looking at other guys and I'm thinking maybe I'm supposed to be born a girl, which is a huge other topic that we're going to talk about today, which probably if I was born today, I would be transitioned by Americans. Honestly, that's a whole nother debate. But I'm very happy to be a man. I'm very happy to be who I am. And when you accept things that are beyond your control, when you accept that you are different and no matter what anyone says, you were born this way, I can argue against what everyone else is saying. Like, you're not supposed to be this way. So why did God create me this way? Why am I born this way? This is my challenge. This is my specific obstacle that I'm supposed to navigate as a child to make me the adult I am today. And it gave me so much empathy for other people. I found that I was befriending a lot of women. Women are way more expressing of their emotions. And men are always taught, you should be a man, toughen up, don't cry, this. And I feel so bad because I consider myself blessed that I know how it is to be a man, but I grew up investing all of my emotions and women investing all their emotions in me. So I got this feminine knowledge and it made me a more well-rounded person with empathy. I looked at girls and I was like, I feel so bad for her. Really, I feel so bad for her. But then I would look at a guy and be like, she's not listening to him. Why isn't she letting him express her emotions? It gave me both sides of the story. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful that I went through all of this hell. Like, honestly, as a kid, I thought I was like possessed or something by a demon because you're so religious as a child. You're born into a Muslim family. They're telling you angels exist, this, which I believe still to this day that there's something above us. I believe that there's maybe not a physical person in the sky watching us, but there's definitely some kind of godly force out there, some kind of light. I can feel it. It's always had my back. And yeah, I'm just really happy I went through everything.
Okay, so you start having these feelings and like, okay, maybe what year was that? Because it was quite early, you know, before this, let's say, democratization of being gay, openly, I would assume. So, yeah, now we talk about coming out of the closet, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about these days. How did the family take it? Your mom, your father, the brothers?
Let me get warmed up here. Okay, so
some water.
well, I would say I was about 5 years old.
5?
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe 1994, 1995.
Okay. So it was quite.
And I realized this while I was in Beirut, in Lebanon. So I was in a Muslim household in a Muslim country, in a place where there's no way that I can really have any kind of backup.
Or even say it, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know that I was really feeling something wrong, but I felt like I had to hide it because I was different. You know, I never heard one of my brothers say like, that boy's cute, you know? I heard them talk about girls. So I'm like, I'm different. I don't want to
broadcast it.
Yeah, I'm scared. But I did actually tell my mom.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did when I was a kid.
Wow.
I'm a very direct person. Like, I'm very expressive of my feelings.
You were always like this?
Always like that. Some people love me for it. Some people hate me for it. But I'm always going to give the truth. If I like you, I'm going to give you the truth no matter what, because I want you to know who I am and I want us both to grow. Like, I'm going to do it. It gets me in a lot of trouble. It does. But in the end, I hope in years to come, people realize that at least I'm being myself. I'm being authentic. So I did tell my mom this. I wanted to get this off my chest. I want it to be good. I want it to be pure. So why would I hold something in if I'm this good person who's feeling a bad thing? Let me get rid of it. So I told her, and she was not happy at all. And of course, everything around me was like, this is the devil's work, all this stuff. So I internalized that, and this led me to anxiety, nightmares, having demonic dreams. Like, it really plagued me to the point where I was incapacitated at night, and I developed sleep disorders. I was sleepwalking. I had sleep paralysis. I was so afraid of dying because I'm like, if I die now, I'm definitely going to hell. If I do this, I'm going to hell. And I remember my mom giving me the Quran, and she's like, put it under your bed, under your pillow, and the demons will go away. And it helped me.
That's true. I confirm.
It helped me. I couldn't believe it. I really, honestly, I don't know if it's the magic power of the Quran, or if it's the fact that my mom gave me a solution. I think it's both.
Yeah, psychology.
It's both. So despite which one it is, it worked. I got my mother's love, and I got this powerful book to protect me, and I felt powerful. So I started to navigate through this, and it didn't come up again until I was 15. I came out in high school.
Wow. In America now.
Yeah. I was in New Jersey. I came out of high school. I was the first openly gay person in my school. There was one other kid, but he was like extreme.
The other
He was like,
side.
yes. You know? So I was like, work, like do your thing.
Good.
Yeah. But at first I found myself a bit homophobic to him.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was struggling with myself.
And how can
And
he
I
like
was
be
projecting this onto other people. And that's why I think the most homophobic people are definitely the ones that have something to hide. They're not comfortable enough with who they are. And why are you going to beat someone up for being gay? Like, relax. If you hate them so much, why are you touching them physically? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, once I confided in a friend and I started coming out, people were trying to bully me. They were trying to pick on me. It was extremely hard. My whole family found out because my guidance counselor called them in.
Wow.
Because I was having, I hate to say it, but I was thinking of offing myself at this point. I was really depressed.
Like suicide.
Yeah. It was horrible. That's one thing I want to tell people. Never go that route. Suicide is not even an option. Like, when I think about that, I'm like, wow, I was so dramatic. No matter what struggle you are going through, you really should never opt out. You're never supposed to end your plan. People believe in reincarnation. People believe in near-death experiences. The people who come back, which I really heavily dove in the rabbit hole of reincarnation and near-death experiences because I'm so curious about death and what happens after death. A lot of people say that you die, you have a life review, you see how you affected other people, you see that how you've helped other people and how you've hurt other people, and you actually experience all of their emotions. So this is the life review cycle. And science is really digging deep into this now. They're trying to do studies. And I'm living on this philosophy of, if someone doesn't understand you, if someone hurts you in a way and you keep going around in circles, leave it to the life review. Leave it for the judgment after death if you can't solve it in this life. Do the best that you can. Be a good person. Help as many people as you can. But it doesn't mean you have to stay around toxicity and endure it and dim your light so other people can shine. You have to live your own life. And taking your own life away is the ultimate sacrifice to make what you think is other people happy, because you're not living up to their expectation. So why do that? Why let this win? Why let them win in any way? as a child, you see TikTokers, you see trends. Everybody wants to fit in. Nobody really wants to be different. Even the people that say they want to be different, like, I'm gothic. Yes, I'm gothic. Then they join a clique of all gothic people to fit in with them.
Right.
There's no such thing as being different. Everyone in some way is similar, and they find their group that they're accepted in. So I needed my group. I needed my recruits. I needed help. Girls always accepted me. They were so accepting. So I loved women so much, but not in the way that my mom had hoped. Yeah.
Or father. You talk a lot about your mother. What's going on there with the father? He's not taking a lot of credits here.
My father was just simply not there. He was in a different country.
Physically.
Yeah, he was really into his work. He was living his own life. So I didn't really see him that much. There was really...
Would you like to reconnect with him or something at some point?
I would love... I always think about my father, but I feel like there's some kind of blockage there for me because I'm a person who really likes to express how I feel, and I feel like I can't be myself still. Even though he has shown kindness towards me, he knows about me, and he was trying to... I remember being in Lebanon. It's like, oh, there's some handsome people here. He was super nice.
Yeah.
But you just never know. There's something in the back of your mind that's like, I'm afraid. He's a nice guy. He's smart, and I'm happy that he passed down these genetics to us, and but I just feel way more connected with my mom. I feel like I'm more like her. I think a lot of my brothers are more like my dad. They're like very business oriented, and I'm more like my mom. Even the last time I went to Lebanon, I was sitting with two of my brothers. You're 98% like me. You're 99% like me. And he pointed at me and was
You're
like,
-1.
He's like, I don't know where you came from.
Wow.
Yeah. And that hurts a lot because I'm like, you don't see me as like you. But at the same time, I'm like,
I understand.
And I love my mom. I'm happy about the way that I am.
It's very fascinating to me to hear it like on a authentic level without the agenda behind, because it is really interesting to talk about these feelings. And how is it being gay in Poland? Because we know there's a lot of stigma going on. So I'm actually curious now to see it from your own perspective, like honest and raw, without the bullshit.
Okay. Honestly, being gay in Poland is not an issue. Not an issue for me. I feel like people in the villages, more suburban, secluded areas, I can feel a lot of empathy for people growing up there who are gay, and they know everyone's name in the city, in the town, everyone's name in the village, and their family name is everything to them. And they're very religious, so I can definitely empathize. I had the same situation growing up. But I live in Warsaw. I've lived in Sopot. There's tourists. There's different nationalities. It's just a bunch of different people. And with diversity comes more acceptance. It just happens. It doesn't matter where I am. If I feel like if I'm being a good person, people are going to like me. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight or whatever. I know a lot of gay people that are so mean, like just so mean. And they give us a bad name.
Right.
They just give us a bad name. The same way a player that plays all the girls and has sex and dumps her off and, promises the world but secretly has a wife, gives men a bad name, like straight men. There's always someone ruining
a bad fish.
Yeah, they're just ruining your group image.
What I'm trying to get to here, because I actually really want to know, because the people that resist, let's say, this LGBTQ plus community, they say, oh, you're trying to poison our children, you're trying to change the narrative, go away. So I want to understand how did we get here?
Gays, lesbians, bi people, we just want to fit in and be treated normally. Real, authentic people don't care about being loud and proud and gay and yes. You know, they don't care about it. They only want to be feeling safe. I want to be able to sit on a bench and kiss my lover and not have people try to punch me in the face. Like, what? That's all I want. I want to be able to hold someone's hand and be like, hey, this is my partner. Why are you making out on the street and I can't? Like, that's the only thing that I don't care. I'm not a PDA kind of guy, but I at least want the option to feel safe with doing it. You can do it in Spain. You can do it in Italy. It's fine. You could do it in New York. But I wish the whole rest of the world would just be like, hey, these are still your people. Like, these are still your citizens. They're still paying your taxes. They're still working, and they just want to fit in. They don't want to go after your children. Those are different kind of people. Those are the infiltrators. There's infiltrators in every group. You know, people are detransitioning and they're regretting their options. They take hormones. They sterilize themselves. They can't have kids for the rest of their lives because they were lost. And I think that you should go to therapy if you're feeling anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, which includes being gay, which includes being straight and depressed, which includes feeling like you're in the wrong body. Everyone needs therapy. Like, talk it out first. But I think what's happening today is that they're skipping the therapy part and they're just giving the medications to earn profits. I've watched thousands and thousands of hours on YouTube. I follow some real trans influencers, and I feel bad for them. I feel like their community is being infiltrated by perverts who have fetishes of dressing up a certain way and whatever, and it's giving the whole LGBTQ, because they want to be included in our banner, a bad name. So they're associating us now with these perverted people who cross-dress and go into girls' locker rooms just to look at women, which is a small majority. Of course, there's real trans people. I was friends with so many people who transitioned. Not even a thought of ew or whatever. It's like, okay, you do you. Yeah. You went to therapy, you figured it out, you made a decision. But jumping the gun is just bad for anything. It's impulsive. Anything impulsive is bad. You go to the club and you start drinking a bunch of things, and then you find something else you like, you jump on it, next thing you know, you're pregnant. You know, it's like any impulsivity is bad. So yeah, I think that people are looking at just this small minority of people, and they're like, they're after our kids. They're trying to indoctrinate us in the school. They're trying this and this and this and this and this. It's unfair to us. It's unfair to the authentic, real people who just want to be accepted, who went through a horrible childhood and finally found their footing and finally found a place where they belong. And we made the progress. Hey, we just want to be accepted. We just want to be gay rights. We want to be accepted. Give us gay marriage. Okay, we got the rights. We got the marriage. No one's killing us. No one's throwing us in jail for kissing. But it's not enough. When does it stop? Stop pushing for teaching 5-year-olds about sexual encounters. Like, I didn't even know what a penis was till I was like 7. Like, the word, you know, I know what it was, like, obviously, but I was like, what's a penis? Like, I don't hear these words. I just believe in authenticity, and I want people to be authentic.
What about marriage, gay marriage, being legalized in Poland, for example? Is that something?
Gay marriage in Poland? Oh, I think there's some time before gay marriage gets legalized in Poland. I think people aren't even really in a rush for it. From all my friends, I've had friends that are partnered for 20 years plus. They don't care. Exactly. They don't care about the numbers and the
names.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about titles. I think they're just grateful enough that they're able to live their life happy. And it's enough. Most people just want to be left alone. They really do. They just want to be left alone. And having a whole marriage and all this stuff, okay, if you can do it privately, I'm sure there are people that will marry you, marry you.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but I guess marry you.
Yeah, marry you.
Yeah. And
so what you're saying is you are not this like, oh, I want my rights, I want this, I want to get married. So why do some people actually care? I'm trying to understand here. In the US, for example, you see them. Of course, it's everywhere legalized everywhere now. So why do we see this need to prove to the society that I also have the right to get married?
Well, I think in the US, why people care so much is because there's a huge attraction to victim mentality. I think once you've been fighting for something for so long and you finally get it, you think to yourself,
What?
wait, I've been stressed about this my whole life. I don't want to. They developed like a baseline of argumentative behavior where they're just fighting for something, and then you get it, and then you're like, well, I want more. Like, what happened to homeless people and hungry people? Why are we giving money to war, to fuel wars? Why don't we use these resources for good? Why are people focusing on just like selfish things?
No, I know what you mean. So how can Poland learn from the US mistakes, I would say, so everyone could live happy? Straight, gay, lesbian, doesn't matter. What can we do here?
I think Poland is doing a fairly good job at making me feel accepted and other gays accepted. I think that they're having more TV shows. They have some drag queen TV shows on TVN. There's gay judges for shows. I know a lot of openly gay singers that have husbands and are doing just fine. I think it's an illusion. Honestly, like I said, I think there's small villages. It's the same in America. I think they're doing a great job. Even in New York, I was walking once in New York. It was maybe 10 years ago. But a guy was passing by in his car. I was in Chelsea, in Manhattan. And this guy was like, go back to your country.
Like, dude.
Trust me, no matter where you go, there's always stupid people. I even was talking to a woman in Starbucks, and she's like, oh my God, where are you from? This, like, we're just having chit chat in America. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm from here. I'm Lebanese. Like, my background's Lebanese. And she's like, oh my God, your English is so good. I'm like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Like, I was born here in America. It's just people have these assumptions of things, and God bless them, they have good intentions. But no matter where you go, you're going to find people like this. You're going to find people who just assume things. And I think people are assuming that Poland is such a closed country, and it's just not. I feel so safe in Warsaw. That's why I'm here. You had Lebanon. When I was 17 in Lebanon, I was caught in this war with Israel versus Lebanon, and they bombed our airports. I just escaped through Damascus by myself with my dad, who was thinking about his factory getting blown up. And I get back to New York. I'm literally kissing the floors of JFK Airport. I probably have a disease to this day from that. And I just appreciated safety so much. And now there's just like so many threats against America, and they always try to like fearmonger and whatever. Here in Poland, I don't understand the news.
So it's good.
I'm like tuning it out. I'm like, oh, they're speaking Polish. Okay. Once I don't know what's going on, of course, if there's like some kind of real big threat, I know. But I can walk on the street without a crazy psycho homeless person attacking me. And like, I was followed by homeless people in New York before. Like, it happens. I was followed to a bathroom and someone tried to grab me while I was at the urinal. That shit does not happen here. It does not happen here. I know you feel safe too. Don't you feel so incredibly? This is the best country to feel safe in. I went to Spain. I saw someone get robbed in Madrid.
Yeah, in Barcelona, in London now, everyone's like, they're stealing the phones, these viral TikToks. It's incredible. And I pray every day that this will never happen here in Poland.
Please.
Poland sucks, guys. Don't come to Poland.
Yeah, exactly. No,
we're good.
I feel the same.
No, but we mean that if you come here and respect the culture, respect the country, the religion, everything, you're more than welcome to stay. But if you are a horrible person, please stay away.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, Sammy, tell me, what is you think is important and we didn't talk about today?
Okay. I think that there's a lot of things that we didn't talk about today.
Actually, let me help you there. In this show, because I'm getting, quote unquote, a lot of data on people, personalities, and everything. And I have noticed that everyone has gone through the darkest night of the soul.
Yeah.
So what is yours? What was yours? Your darkest night of the soul?
My darkest night of the soul. Great question, by the way. I think that mine was discovering that no matter what your intentions are, if you hurt people in a negative way, you're still responsible for taking accountability. Now, I say this because I went to therapy. They diagnosed me with ADHD, which is like very apparent for me. I jump and skip.
You were very calm.
I try my best. I've learned to manage it over the years. But I struggled with rapid fire talking, trying to get my point across, over explaining things because I want the other person to understand me and not be misheard. And I tend to just want to make every situation as healthy and understood as possible. And you can't push other people into that position. You can't push them into thinking, okay, I understand you. Some people just don't understand you. Some people just don't know where you're coming from. And I think the best thing is look at yourself, reflect, and think, how can I communicate better in a way where people can know that I'm being authentic? How can I be a better person and know that my intentions are good, but the outcome is also good? So I've burned a lot of bridges in my life, emotionally speaking, because I felt a lot of childhood trauma really transitioned into my adult traumas. And when things weren't going right, I felt the anxiety coming back and the attacks coming back and trust issues popping up. But finding an outlet like singing, finding an artist you can listen to, this can really help put things into perspective for you, calm you down, and focus on what you're grateful for. Here's my ADHD coming out, but I think rumination is a deadly disease, and you have to just kind of let go of things. You have to let go. There's so many ways I want to answer this, but
Let me help you there. What did you learn from your lowest moment in life when you hit rock bottom? I think I have the feeling that when I met you first, I think in 2015, you were a completely different man. And so was I.
Yeah.
And now you strike me as more like calm and
True.
composed. That's the word I'm looking for. So how did you get from this crazy Sammy to this?
I was crazy. So my transition from even just 10 years ago, I learned that the ego is smarter than you think you are. I learned that there is a way where your ego manipulates you into thinking that you're doing the right thing. You're doing it right and it protects you. And once you realize this, you realize, oh my God, I'm pushing people away, or I'm too crazy, or I'm self-destructing by giving into all of these things that I once deprived myself of. And you overindulge and you become addicted to things, and you become addicted to mental states and partying and feeling good and the pleasure principles. You lose this purity that you once always strived for. That little boy inside of you that was saying, I want to grow up and I want to be a fireman, or I want to grow up and I want to be a singer. You lose your whole identity. And I think at one point, even though I felt purity and goodness in my soul, I was just self-destructing around me.
Guys, real quick before we continue the show, if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and leave a like. It helps us tremendously, more than you know. The bigger we get, the bigger the guests we can invite. If you're watching on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, please subscribe and leave a review. Again, thank you so much. Back to the episode. Sammy, we have a closing tradition. It's called the Warsaw Confidential game, so people can play Warsaw Confidential at home. And I ask you a completely random question that I don't know, and you get to ask me one too.
Oh, okay.
Philip, can you give me the questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, fancy.
Completely random. And those who are listening or watching, this is Warsaw Confidential game. You can play it at home. It's gonna go on sale very soon. And Sammy, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
I don't know.
Of
I'm
course.
just gonna close my
Let's go.
eyes. Wow. All right. Tell me something you have never told anyone before.
Lord, didn't we just go through this?
That's the question,
Oh,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Something that I've never told anyone before.
I love this. Yeah, it's a confidential show, so
Honestly, I don't even know because I talk too much. So I really do expose myself all the time.
maybe you didn't say it online or something.
It's really hard to say.
It is. That's the game. That's the game.
Okay. Sometimes when I have a little bit too much apple juice,
Okay.
I like to put on entire performances well, my friends know about this, but I like to get dressed in costumes, put on some karaoke songs, come in and perform for them,
Wow.
and put on a whole entire improv show. And I really get into the characters. So it's a little embarrassing, but everyone loves it and I have a good time.
Beautiful. I love that. See, you managed. There you go. You get to ask one completely random as well.
Random question number one.
Oh man, number one.
If you can say one thing to a family member you've lost, who would it be? What would you say and why?
Wow, man, I'm starting gonna be crying again. Well, that definitely it will be my grandfather.
Yeah.
He was my best friend, or the best friend I've never had, and he influenced me so much. Like when it comes to education, style,
Oh.
composer, suave. I like this word, suave. And his last days, he had cancer, and it's because he was smoking a lot, and his throat cancer. And these last days, unfortunately, I was going through my diva, egoistic journey. So I was just like traveling, having fun, enjoying the life. And I didn't get to spend these last days with him because I was like, he's going to get it. It's okay. And then when he was gone, I realized it's like, fuck, I don't see this guy anymore. And he was like the most influential father figure to me because my father, like yours, was completely absent. And that just, it was it's not like, I knew he loved us.
Yeah.
But he was just not showing it or anything. And you just assume it at some point and you live with it. He's not there. It's our mom. We're living with our mom. And so my grandfather took up this role and he was like my guidance. And I kind of regret that I didn't get to spend, because unfortunately when I realized it was a little bit too late, he couldn't talk because his voice was completely gone. He has this big throat here and he was just writing and it was like lost in translation. And then at some point he was completely gone. And I actually couldn't go because my carta pubito is in the process. I was away, so I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to the funeral, and it just impacted me a lot. And so if I had to tell him something, I'll just tell him, I love you. Thank you so much for what you did for me. I miss you, and I'll see you again.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I think he can hear you.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I actually went to this, let's say, spiritual therapist, and I told her, I said, I think my life changed when my grandparents died. And she's like, no, they didn't. They're still here. They're still watching. And I think that clicked inside me. And I know he's watching here. He's chilling, watching the suit. So, yeah. Sammy, thank you so much
Thank you,
for coming to
Kamal.
the show.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Stories are the single most powerful weapon any leader can arm themselves with. They are the currency of humanity. And those who tell inspiring, emotional, powerful stories rule the world. And today, I am super excited to talk to you about storytelling. To put it simple, storytelling changed my life. It allowed me to meet the most incredible people in my life, to raise capital for my startups in Dragon's Den, and simply improve my life as a human being. And today, I would like you to do the same. So, I am excited to announce my upcoming masterclass in the art of storytelling. And so if this is something you're interested in, I would love you to join our masterclass. So you can leave your details below and I will be in touch. Thank you so much and see you soon.